Hello to everyone and welcome to my first podcast. I'm a little bit nervous about this, but I'm sure I need to make this and to help entrepreneurs. I'm not the best person for this. I'm not the skilled person. As you hear me, you see my accent and my English also. But I know I need to step in and make my part on this and help entrepreneurs around the world to be prepared. This is not the end of the world for sure, but this is a good showcase how it can be evolved, and what can be in future, even worse. But right now it's a good test for us, like, okay, good battle, if we can take this battle and go for this. On this episode I will share with you free let's call it ideas you to analyze yourself if you are ready to take this battle for this virus and for your business, your community, your family. This is also a good questions for me. But before we will begin these three questions to analyze ourselves, I want to share where this podcast will be on Apple Podcast, on Google Play, and on YouTube. On YouTube will be my main channel where I'll submit and you can listen audio. But if you want to communicate, engage in like comments, and I will read all the comments. You can give suggestions. You can suggest maybe some people to invite on the podcast. Maybe some links, useful links, and we will share with entrepreneurship community around the world. So each episode you can comment, and let's prepare for this battle, because we now have this battle with health and surviving on our homes. A lot of businesses are closed, will be closed, will not survive this, because it's going to be a big economical crisis also. And we'll talk about this in next episodes, how we can survive, how we can step in, how we can change, adapt our businesses. We'll talk this about on next episodes. But right now, let's go with these three questions. First one: are you feeling consumed, paralyzed? Let's call it like this. Like, you all the day you are staying and thinking about this crisis, this virus, and you consume all the news. You are you cannot think critically about other things, about a new solution. You just stay and consume for the sake of consuming. Like, you are consuming, but from consuming you are not making any actions. And you are feeling like, I need to know how many people, where, how it was, and so on. If you are feeling this is one question to analyze and to change about your mindset, your actions, because you understand this is not healthy and this will not lead to any solution. You need to make actions after you know what is happening, and it's enough for you, for most of us, it's enough to read and know only from a couple of sources in the morning, in the evening, for example, and this is maybe enough. If you are involved in this, if you find need solutions, you can read more and know more about this. Like, my job is to know and to help equip you, but this is like, okay, this is my job, I need to make these actions. But for most of us, we just consuming for the sake of consuming, and this is not healthy. And second one, you are called in these times to make something, to make an action. Every one of us are not by luck on this planet. If you believe in God, in Jesus, you know we are created, and we are created for a purpose. For other people who are not believing, okay, you may feel like you have a purpose on this planet. You are not staying here just for the sake of living this life. This is very short life. Like, it's going, you look back, 20 years past, we look back, 40 years past, and so on. So for sure is something more about this life. So you are called, you are having a purpose, you need to know this purpose. And in these times of this big crisis, for sure you need to take something from this. If you are a believer, you for sure need to pray and think, what I personally need to take from this situation, what message God has for me. If you are not a believer, for sure you need to ask yourself, why I'm here on this situation, what I need to do, what I can be involved, how I can help, how I can make something out of this situation. Don't just lose the time. Don't just lose the time. And 3, this is the hardest question, even for most of us. Are you willing to give your life? You see all this, what is happening in around you, you have small chances maybe to be to have this virus, but even if you have the virus, you have good chances to survive. But even with this, are you're willing to give your life? Like, I'm okay if something happens, I am not in control of this, and I am okay to with worst situation possible. So the worst situation possible is your life, maybe your family life, and are you willing to accept this? Like, your fight, you will not, you will be very cautious. You will not give this easy battle for. But are you willing to accept it may happen? Because if you are willing to accept, you are freeing yourself you are freeing yourself. Like, you will be not paralyzed. You will think different ideas, different strategies, and you are good to fight. You are willing to go as a soldier in the battle to fight, not in the streets. This is not wise right now, but are you willing to go for it and make out of your life all what is possible? And this will free yourself. Why I'm telling you giving your life? Because you maybe you are a believer, and if you are a believer, in John 14:25 it says, if you are willing to give your life, you are not taking your life whole. You are like, yes, this is very precious life. No, if you are willing to give your life, and you will have access to a eternal life. And if you are okay with this. In past, Christians was very persecuted, and they needed to say, okay, when they was asked, you are willing to give, like, if you will say you are not a Christian, will save your life. If you will say, I'm a Christian and I with God, will take your life. And a lot of people was willing to give their life because they love Jesus, and they even accepted to die because of Jesus. But even if you're not a believer, in Jim Collins' books, I recommend to read his books, and especially in these times, he analyzed a lot of leaders, a lot of big companies, how they survived in hard times. And most leaders are level 5. He made this kind of level 4, level 5 leaders. And level 5 leaders were not taking as main goal of their life to have to work for themselves. So they don't seek the money, they don't seek the reputation, or they don't seek to be in control, but they seek something more out of their life, something bigger than their life. And if you're seeking something bigger than your life, if your goal is to have something work for even bigger than your life, you will live a fully life, and this is, you will respond to your call. As I mentioned in the second option is second question is, what is your calling? And most of these businesses, successful businesses, are responding, their leaders are responding to their call, and they are making something more out of their life. So I suggest to read How Mighty Falls by Jim Collins, or Good to Great by Jim Collins, and other books of him, and you will understand the bigger philosophy of this thing. But if you didn't read a Bible, or read it in more than a couple of years ago, I recommend to start again and start with Book of John in New Testament, and you will see the Bible, you'll see the messages right now in a different way, in a very different way, because of this crisis. When you read, pray, God will open your mind and eyes to see the book in a different way. And yeah, if you are willing to start reading, let me know in the comment what you noticed in the books, or in the Bible, or in other parts. So we'll be encouraging one from another. And as I mentioned, you are welcoming to comment, to engage in a community, to discuss together. So I'm waiting for your comments, and God help us in this crisis to not just survive, but be a winners. And thank you for being to this podcast with me. See you next episode.